Hey, alls. Welcome back to Question and Answers with the Provokers. And we had so many questions and awesome ones come in for work-life balance that we promised to do a second one. So we are we are just all ready for our second installment of this. And I'm excited because guess what? Shane never tells me what the questions are. So, this is just like coming straight from whatever our heads
It
can
makes
come up with.
it more honest answers. It makes it a lot easier.
Yes. So
Okay. So, when you feel burnout creeping in, what's your go-to method to keep them at bay?
oh man, this is a good one. I don't know. I've been actually, like, honestly, guys, I've been talking about a little bit of burnout lately, and me and Shane, on a personal note, have been talking about it because we never actually got away on any kind of vacation during this pandemic. We haven't done anything. And, that's something we really have to watch ourselves.
Yeah.
So, when I think very importantly, when you're starting to feel burnout, especially if you're an entrepreneur, I honestly think, it's not a bad thing to be like, you know what? I'm going to take a half day today and I'm going to go do something fun because, like we were actually talking about the other day, we're going to take a half day and take off to Fieldings and just sit there and enjoy ourselves. And I think, little things like that, just, take off, go for a drive, maybe you brought your lunch that day, but maybe you just be like, hey, I'm going to go to my favorite place, grab a burger and go hang out by the water in Burlington and just eat it there. Just take some time to relieve yourself.
It's totally true. Like, we need to all be very mindful of how we either work too much or we are always on the clock, which will lead into one of the other questions that I'm about to ask. How do you feel about the internet enabling us to be fully connected even in our downtime, weekends, evenings, and holidays? So see, ties in.
Yeah, so I'm going to let Shane do this one because he's going to be the first one to admit that he's on his phone all the time.
I'm looking at my emails. I'm looking at Facebook because I do a lot of social media like this video. I'm constantly looking at what people are saying and following what's going on. So I'm always in the know because it sometimes ends up being information overload and it burns you out too. So taking time to disconnect. Some days at night I will just shove my phone in my pocket, and if you don't hear from me, that's why. It's because I have burnt out and absorbed too much stuff, and I have plugged my phone into a pocket, or I'll leave it upstairs.
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the nightstand.
Some days I'll be guilty of it, just sitting on the couch because he's watching a Blue Jays game and I'm bored. So I'm just sitting there. And I've decided when I get bored like that, instead of just sitting there, I take Harvey out for a walk. I enjoy walks with the dog. I do not take my phone with me. I just go for a nice walk. I don't even listen to music. I just listen
Because
to
then you're tempted.
Yeah, I'm tempted. So then I just listen to the Blue Jays, and like the Blue Jays singing in the tree, and I never realize how loud they actually are.
Or the cicadas.
Or the cicada, no. Or, visiting with other people with dogs, which we have a lot in our neighborhood. So it's a nice, breakup for me. So, yeah, I myself am trying to get away from my phone. I will put it sometimes in the kitchen and just leave it on just the mode, so if my phone goes off or somebody's calling or something. But, I'll just leave it there and allow my evening to go as is. I will check it periodically, but that's what I do because I don't like to be constantly on it, and I'm starting to see that I'm doing that myself.
But even in the office, I try to take a walk every hour because there's only so much you can stare at a screen for. So maybe schedule breaks into your day to help break up that monotony / burnout, because it will creep in fast and lead into question number one fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so the final question, it's on the lines of both of those. And it's from a good friend of mine. So, when working from home, what tips can you give to stay focused and separate work from home? I work from home periodically and find that some days are a blur of back and forth, forcing myself to try and stay on task only to get off task. And then I end up working way later work days because I work later into the night to make up for it, and it is getting exhausting.
Feel for you, because I know where you're at. I'm going to go back into agency life. When I worked in agency, I actually found myself doing this a lot. Like, I would work all day, commute in, work all day, come home, and then work at night. And yeah, it was pretty exhausting. And I'm not going to lie, I'm one of those people that I have actually a really hard time working at home. I like to have everything in my buckets. So, I come to the office and that's work time. And then I go home and that's home time. I make dinner, I make things. It's not like work doesn't creep into it. But, even for Shane, he leaves his computer at the office. So he can't really do a lot of things at home. I'll do like simple things like invoicing and stuff. But to get to your question, I would say routine. Like, if you can put yourself in a routine of, if you're like me, you put yourself in a routine, like, I'm going to walk the dog at this time. I'm going to, make my lunch at this time. And if you get into that routine, I find that you fall away from the idea of working overtime and all that things. Like, everyone's got kids, everyone's got other engagements that are just as important, and you just have to really watch how your work-life balance, even when you work at home, is going. So if you're like me, schedule your walks with your dog, make sure you do it, and try to schedule your day. Like, that just works for me.
I leave my computer here because it makes it a lot easier to maintain the work-life balance, because if I bring it home, I'm going to end up being on it or doing something. And anybody that really knows me knows I'm ADHD, so I get distracted so easy. So otherwise, the most important thing is scheduling. So if you're working from home, get up at the same time, have your shower, get up, have breakfast. I mean, just do all the stuff as if you were going into the office. Get dressed. I know it's more comfortable in your pajamas, but it just doesn't, it keeps the boundaries with work time and non-work time. So you get dressed, you take the dog for a walk, you go out, and you just do everything as a schedule. So if you scheduled your day as 9 to 5, then try to keep that window with breaks in between so that you don't burn out.
Yeah. So I think hopefully we got your questions, and we really enjoy these ones on the work-life balance because it's huge to us. Because I used to be that workaholic that if I could, I'd be working all the time. I used to work every Sunday, and now I look back at it, I'm like, that was crazy. So, yeah, go outside, enjoy, the sunshine. It's super nice out.
It's going to be 20 some degree or 18 degrees today, and this whole weekend is going to be around 18, 20.
Yeah, and take a break, go enjoy go for a drive. The fall colors are coming out, and I heard through the grapevine that today is National Coffee Day. So go to your favorite Starbucks or Tim Hortons or
Second Cup or the we have Lakeshore Coffee here.
Yeah,
in
your local place. Go for a walk and go grab a coffee and enjoy the walk back home. So yeah, till next time. Thanks so much, guys.